Hello YouTube, it is Championdjk coming at you again with another weekly episode, and of course I've got some stuff to share with you as usual. So, let's get right into it. I got a box in the mail from Canada, from a guy on Instagram named Joey. He watched my 1/43rd scale video where I kind of showed, like, what am I doing? I bought a bunch of 1/43rd scale cars, and he asked if I was interested in this one. And he said he would send it to me, and I was like, oh, yeah, dude, I would check that out on my channel. Super cool. I forget what the history is on this. Hopefully he watches the video and he comments on it and kind of explains where he got this from or what exactly it is. We'll do the best we can to read it, read the words and stuff here. I don't think any of it's in English, so that's going to be a fail. It looks Russian. All right. And that, I think, as I'm remembering, I think that's what this is. But we're going to check it out. It's some cool looking, like, van thing. And it's in, like, 1/43rd scale. And it looks pretty neat. Might be cool to take some cool photographs of it. So I'm excited for that. He also sent me a Johnny Lightning. This is actually a Johnny Lightning Collector Club car. So he's limited to 768 pieces. Not very many of these made. And this thing is really cool. Don Nicholson. Really, really neat. So we're going to open up this. Kind of a rare Johnny Lightning, really. 768 pieces is just not that many. Under 1,000. So we're going to open up that as well. This thing is super cool. I'm so glad he included that. And then I've got this Honda Civic 1200 RS, which is a Konami. And actually, I have this one. I've got this one loose. I'm going to grab it so I can show you it anyway, because it's been a long time since I've shown any of my Konami collection. And we will check this car out. I'm going to leave this one sealed, though, for now. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but we're going to leave it sealed for now because I have one loose. So there you go. Konami. Really neat. We'll check that out. And then, if you watched earlier in the week, I posted an Auto World unboxing. If you didn't watch that, pause this video, go watch that, and come back to this one because I'm about to spoil it. Okay? Alright, gave you enough chance there. But I scored an Ultra Red out of that case. So I got the version A regular car and the Ultra Red. Didn't have the version B. But now I've got the version B car, picked it up. So we can open all three of these now. So we're going to do that in the next half of the video. So cool, got an Ultra Red out of a case. Speaking of opening up cases and scoring, I also got a case of the latest Car Culture, which is Spettacolare, I don't know, Italian, something or another. Very, very cool. Of course, we've got the Lancia Stratos, very awesome. Probably the coolest one in the set, actually. The Alfa Romeo Giulia Sprint. Pretty cool, too. The Alfa Romeo 155 V6 Ti. And then the new Lamborghini Countach LPI 800-4, which I got some feelings about this casting. Kind of disappointed by it, actually. And by looking at it right here, see if you can guess my disappointment, which we will talk about in the next segment of the video. However, also in my case, there was a chase. Yes. So cool to just get one of these out of a case. I pre-ordered my case from SC Diecast. They're my pals that are in Wisconsin, based out of Wisconsin, little small business. And I try to support them whenever I can. And I pre-ordered a case of this, and lo and behold, there was a chase within. So that's really neat. I also got from them a couple of Kaido House pieces. We've got the new casting from Kaido House. This is the Skyline GTR R34. Okay, Kaido. And I got it in both colors. There's a white one and like a purple one. I've opened these just to check and see if there was a chase inside, which there was not. So, no chase. But I didn't really take the casting out and take a look at it yet. So this will be the first time I am actually looking at this Kaido House casting. And I know that people are a little on the fence about this one. It's a very body kitted out R34, very wide body, you know, crazy kind of like work of art, like all the Kaido stuff is. So I'm kind of into the style. I like it. I don't mind that they're not 1/64 scale. We've kind of talked about this before. I've talked about it before, but you know, I like kind of what he's doing. So I'm a fan, and I'm definitely going to get at least one example of every casting. This one I was only going to get one, but I decided to just get both. So we'll check it out. I haven't really looked at this yet. Oh, and I forgot. Whoops. Forgot to show that one. The other Countach. Pretty cool, too. I get that they do these wheels, and maybe I'll gripe about this later, too, but they do these wheels on this because of, you know, the original Countach had those, like, circle hole rims. But these beadlock, what they look like beadlock tires are rims, and it just is not really that appropriate for this Countach. I just wish they would do something else other than these wheels for this Countach casting. You guys let me know what you think. But my main gripe with Hot Wheels sometimes is about the wheels. All right, so we'll talk about that some more. All right, so Kaido House, Spectaculare, or Spectaculare, whatever it is. You know, we got some Auto World, Johnny Lightning. Well, I got another Auto World Ultra Red we're going to take a look at. The minivan. Stoked to get this one. My buddy Diecast picked it up off of eBay for me and had it shipped right to me. We're going to open up this, of course, and we'll take a look at the version A and version B cars at the same time. So we'll check that out. We'll go over the Ultra Red traits. This will be kind of cool because we'll get to go over like the Ultra Red traits from 2023 release 2, and we'll get to go over the traits from 2023 release 1. And for those of you that are not familiar with the Round 2 Chase program or Auto World Chases in general, hopefully we'll be able to clear a couple things up for you. I try to reiterate that education constantly because I always see, undoubtedly, anytime I go on like Auto World Collectors Group or anywhere else that people post to Auto World, there seems to be confusion around it like all the time. So just try and spread the knowledge. Can't control who's listening, but we'll talk about it anyway. All right. Lastly, I actually found something in store. And it's not that big of a deal, but hey, I found Target Red Editions. We got the Audi. I know it's not red, it's black, but it's a red edition. Target Red Edition Hot Wheels. These are hard to come by in my area. You got to be the first one there. Cadillac, pretty cool. It's a nice one. And then this Dodge Charger Drift Pursuit thingy, kind of cool. Not really into that one so much, but the other two are really, really neat. And then the last monthly meet, my buddy John hooked me up with 2 multi-pack exclusive cars. We got this Lambo in this beautiful color, and then we got this CRX. Pretty darn cool as well. These are multi-pack exclusives. I don't know if they're exclusives to specific, like 20-pack, 10-pack, 3-packs, or if they're just multi-pack exclusives. I'm not sure. This one, I want to say this is exclusive to a 20-pack, maybe. But I'm not sure. Anyway, you guys probably know more than I do. It's just a cool-looking CRX. So he posted it up, seeing he had an extra one, and I said, yeah, I'll take that. Thank you very much. All right. So we got roughly 20 vehicles to look at here. Let's go ahead and flip the camera around. We'll take a look at this stuff up close. Of course, we're going to open up all this cool stuff. I mean, we got some cool stuff here, right? What do you want to do for the camera? Let's do some red editions with Ultra Reds. Car Culture Chase. Is this going to bring the views? Will it? Is that going to bring the views? Maybe. We'll find out. You know, probably get the same amount of views I normally get. All right, let's flip it around and open up this stuff. Stay tuned. All right, for the first part of this video, let's go ahead and take a look at the multi-pack exclusive Hot Wheels, or just the exclusive Hot Wheels in general. Starting with this Lamborghini. Not my favorite Lamborghini casting ever, I must say, because of it just looks weird without a top on it. It's an Aventador J, right? That's what it is. Yep, Aventador J. And it's a goofy looking Lambo with, like, literally looks like somebody just took a scoop out of the top. And it looks a little weird, but the paint color on this thing is beautiful. Look at that. Sparkly, pearly, sky blue. It's just a really pleasing to the eye color, in my opinion. I think it looks just really good. Paint more cars in this color. Yeah, it's pretty. I like it. I like it a lot. It's like ice, blue ice. Anyway, I really like this. I think it's pretty awesome. And thanks again, John, for hooking me up with that. And this one, the CRX in blue as well. Very, very cool. Look at this thing. They always do a good job decorating this CRX. It rarely ever. I can't think of a single deco that this has come out in that I've been like, bleh. They've always looked really kind of really cool and like almost like period correct too. They just look. I like them. I like them. That's all I could say. I don't know what about the art about it. I just really like. I like this casting a lot, and I typically like the graphics that they put on the casting. I think they generally do a good job with this every single time. So, big fan of it. Looks really cool. Cool, it's a multi-pack exclusive, and I didn't have to buy a multi-pack to actually get them. That is always pretty awesome. All right. Follow that up with the Target stuff. And what we got here is, we'll start with this one. This would be my least favorite of the bunch. This is the Dodge Charger Drift Hot Wheels Track Pursuit. This thing has got a light bar on it. It's like it says Dodge Charger Drift, but it's like the police version. I don't know, it's weird. It's a weird tooling. It's got a light bar on it, a brush guard on it. And I mean, it's not terrible looking. It's just not really, I don't know. Out of the three, this is the one that I would be the least excited about, of course. But it is the only one that's actually all red, like a red edition. So there's that. But yeah, Track Pursuit. So let me know if you guys are finding these in your local Targets. By the way, I believe they're J-case is what it looks like. So be on the lookout for J-cases hitting Target, and be on the lookout for these three red edition cars. The other one is the Audi e-tron GT. Pretty slick looking ride here. This one they decided to go all black with the red lipped rims. And it's not the first time that they've done red editions in black with like red accents. That's kind of a normal thing for them to do. And this looks really nice, actually. Very, very nice Hot Wheels green speed. We've got, you know, rear deco and then front deco, and it just looks pretty mean. I actually really like the way this car looks. I think it looks really good. It looks like a nice classic kind of Audi look and shape, and it all black with the red lipped rims. I think actually looks quite good. It's a nice looking mainline for sure. So definitely digging that. And then lastly, we got the 1982 Cadillac Seville. I like this casting. This casting is old. The original tooling is old, I should say. This is a retool. Do they have the date of the retool on here? 2011. So 1980 would have been the original tooling of this casting, as far as I'm aware. This one we get white and red on the sides, and of course it says red on it. Does it say red anywhere on the? Did we notice that on here at all? Oh, yeah, right there, red. So now it actually says red on the Target Red editions, which is kind of cool, especially for loose collectors, because now you have something to indicate that it is a red edition car without having to like look up a wiki on it or whatever, and without having to, you know, have it carded, obviously. So that's kind of a neat add-on. I do like that they put that somewhere on the vehicle, in the deco. Kind of a nice, like, modern-looking font. It looks good. So, kind of digging this one. Actually, the Audi is my fave, which I'm not, like, a big Audi guy, but, you know, I just think this thing looks pretty slick. So, I'm digging that. All right. what should we look at next? Let's look at this stuff. So I'm really interested in this stuff. Actually, let's start with the Civic. All right, I told you I'm not going to open this, and we're not going to. It looks like it's got some paint rashing on it, which is normal, and I'll show you mine kind of has that same issue. So it's a Honda Civic 1200 RS SB1 1974. These Konami cars, I can't tell you exactly when they came out. They released them in a bunch of different series, and they've been around. It was a while ago. I don't know if there's any date on the bottom of the car, but this is it loose. So when you think of Konami, copyright date 2004, okay. So when you think of Konami, you know, inevitably think of like Contra and the Contra code, you know, up, up, down, down, left, right, A, B, start if you're playing by yourself, select start if you're playing, you know, with a friend. That would get you the extra lives in Contra. The only way that I could think of that you're ever going to beat that game, because that game was actually pretty quite hard not to die a bunch of times for the old Nintendo Entertainment System. Anyway, here's a look at the car. So they made these. Quite interesting. They are pretty much like a premium model that you would expect, kind of like a premium import brand. They're actually kind of close to like Atomica Limited Vintage, but not quite the quality of Atomica Limited Vintage, but they got some similar features. They have a plastic base, okay, so that's Atomica Limited Vintage's metal base. That's one area where they differ. They have rubber tires, metal body. They got some extra plastic pieces and parts and stuff like that, and quite a bit of detail. Blank white plates, which is a Atomica Limited Vintage thing. They all have, like, usually this blank white license plate situation. It has suspension, which is a Atomica Limited Vintage thing. And, yeah, inserted details for the headlights. So, it's somewhat similar. A detailed interior with, like, another color, like an actual steering wheel in there. Fairly clear glass. They do suffer from some paint rashing at times. I've seen a few of mine have this kind of issue, as you see there on the top. And if you look through this one, you can see this one's got that as well. It's just something that happens with these cars that were made around this era, and I don't know why it is or what. People have, you know, attributed it to humidity. People have some sort of impurity in the zinc, but it's not like zinc pest. So if you're familiar with zinc pest, or if you know what that is, it's where the zinc actually kind of deteriorates on the inside and becomes very brittle to the point where you can like crush the car with your hand. And there's some cars from the past that have had that problem. And it's not that. I don't think it's that anyway. I don't have any that actually are like that. They just have this like imperfect paint that turns from a pure gloss into this almost like, I don't know how to describe it really. They call it paint rash. Anyway, rubber tires and stuff. It's nice looking little car. They're 1/64 scale. They gotta be pretty much accurate to 1/64. Just judging by the size of this little thing. And they're very cool. So if you want to search them, look them up on eBay. They usually are somewhat affordable. Still to this day, you can get a hold of them for they're not too expensive. But kind of an interesting little defunct brand. And I have quite a few of these. I should probably reiterate and do a video on them. It's been a long time since I've really talked about these in detail and shown you what I have. And I haven't got one though in a long time, so, but it would still be cool to kind of rehash the whole collection. Let me know if you guys would be interested in something like that. All right, and then this, what is this? So it appears to have been stapled back together, and of course we're gonna open it. I'm gonna try to kind of extract this staple without injuring myself, which might be somewhat of a challenge. Let's get a tool. There we go. All right, pop this off and take a peek at this van. What is that? Is that a piece of it? Oh, I don't know, something popped off there. And let's take a look at this thing. The mirror's a little bent back. I have to fix that, or if I can fix it without breaking it. It makes me so nervous. Maybe add a little bit of heat to that, and we'll be able to reshape that back. Got to be careful with that stuff. It's a little dirty. Dust gets in there. You know, this package was opened and resealed. But let's see. Maybe we can clean it up a little bit while we're talking about it. Do that, huh? Kind of cool. I don't know what that little piece was because I don't think it really came from anything here. You know, we're just thinking out loud. You know, that's what I do in these videos. All right, so I believe this is some sort of Russian brand or something like that. It says, well, it says that on the bottom. Made in China. This looks like Russian-ish language, maybe down there. You see that? And the packaging appears to be of that same flavor. So, I know nothing. I am very uncultured when it comes to, like, just stuff that I'm not super familiar with, right? I mean, like, I'm not, like, I don't know a ton, you know, even about geography, really. I'm very not well-traveled. Maybe someday I'll get out and see the world. But yeah. So, pretty cool, though. I mean, so clearly it's got a lot of detail. We've got detail up front here. We got orange, which probably directional lights. We got headlights that are detailed. We've got separate pieces for the wipers, the rear view or side mirrors. Some details in the back. The separate little window pieces. We've got tail lips. The base is plastic, but has a ton of detail, and it's got an actual spare tire on the bottom that is rubber. And, of course, rubber tires. And it rolls very, very smoothly because of those big, fat rubber tires. Not really fat, I should say. Tall. And, yeah, this thing's pretty neat. So I'll definitely take some cool pictures of this. I don't know what kind of scene I'll come up with for this to take some pictures. I love taking pictures of these cars. It's one of my favorite things to do now when I'm considering even picking up a car. Sometimes I wonder, you know, can I make this look cool in a photograph? And I'm kind of sticking towards like product style images, not necessarily trying to put this in a scene and make it look like a real car. Which is very, very cool too, and I find the people that do that super impressive. It's a lot of work to set up those shots, and I love that. I follow some really good photographers that do that stuff on Instagram. I kind of stick to kind of product style photography here, and because it's nice, I can do that right here in my basement without too much effort. You know, there's a little bit of effort, lighting and all that jazz, but not setting up like perspective in a scene where the car's got to look real with a real life background and all that stuff. It's really impressive. It's just something I, you know, would have to spend a lot of time doing, and it's I don't have a lot of time, you know. All right, so this is really neat. This is going to join my 1/43 scale collection, which is slowly growing. I pick up a piece now here and there. I've got some more stuff coming sometime in the near future that I will share with you. I'll do another like 1/43 scale video, and of course, once the Hot Wheels hit the new ones, I'm going to pick those up, and we're going to check those out. All right, moving on from that, we're going to go to the other item that he sent me, which is this. Dino Tuned by Don Nicholson, one of 768 pieces, Johnny Lightning Collector Club. So I think you got to be a member to order this. I think, maybe. Someone will, of course, correct me. This is the 1962 Chevy Bel Air. It's a really cool casting. I like this casting from Johnny Lightning. Read the back if you want. We're going to go ahead and open it up. Dino Don. Dino Tuned. I like this. I love these like old school drag cars, race cars, anything like vintage advertisement on it. You know, that vintage style of advertisement I think is really awesome. I'm always into it. And That's when I like graphics and stuff on cars. You know, I'm not into like Coca-Cola on a vehicle for the sake of Coca-Cola or Fanta. You know, yeah, I'm talking to UM too. Um, but and this isn't really like crazy, like, you know, well-known brand advertisement. I'm just saying, if you are going to do well-known brand advertisement, do it vintage style. I think it's, you know, cool. Like you'd see it on an actual, I don't know, vintage car. So I think this is really awesome. I think this is a really cool piece, and it being very limited kind of adds a cool factor to it as well. 768 pieces is just not that many. Any way you slice it, under 1,000 pieces for a Johnny Lightning is a very low production number. So, will this be sought after in the future? Who knows? I don't know. It's hard to predict, but it is an oddball Johnny, and definitely one that is not, you know, mass produced. So, I think it's pretty cool. All right, I'm into that. What should we look at next? We're going to do, let's go and jump into Auto World now. And we're going to open up the minivan first. So this is from release 1 for 2023. So we can look at the version A and version B. So this is the version A, this beautiful Dodge Caravan. I absolutely adore this casting. This is my all-time favorite casting. Now, I'm determining it. This is my favorite casting. Definitely my favorite Auto World casting. Possibly my favorite casting of all time is this vehicle. This is like the pinnacle of diecast for me. I don't feel like I should have to explain why again, but maybe I should, just so, you know, those of you that are new to the channel, since there's no continuity on YouTube. Yeah, I used to own one of these in high school. It was like my first car ever, you know. Yeah, maybe that's a sad thing. You know, it's not a very sporty car, but I can tell you I had fun in it and with it. All right, so there's that. Version A, and then version B is right here in this beautiful garnet pearl coat. Beautiful color. My original one did not have wood paneling, by the way. I went through 3 of these vans. Actually, there was a Plymouth Voyager. So I had a Plymouth Voyager, then another Plymouth Voyager. No, actually a Plymouth Voyager. Yeah, it was Plymouth, and then my last one was a Dodge Caravan. And my last Dodge Caravan did have wood paneling. Anyway, so I went through 3 of these vehicles. It was in a band, you just play shows and stuff like that. It was a great vehicle for that, being in high school and stuff like that. It was the bee's knees. All right, so we got that, and then we got the Ultra Red. So we can open this up now and talk about the Ultra Red traits so that there's no question when you find one of these from this set in the store as to is it a chase or not. Well, they make it pretty darn obvious in most of their series now. So this particular series, we are going to see these blatant white tires, okay? Clearly going to be a chase if it's got white tires on it. You're never going to see an Auto World in the store with white tires that isn't a chase. You're just not going to see it. It's got a white base as well, so if you miss the white tires somehow, you can look underneath and see it's got a white base. That's not normal either, so you're not going to see that. What is maybe normal is that it is an ultra red color. Now you will see cars, even this one, it's not too close, but you will see releases from Auto World that will have very close to this ultra red color as the regular color. Well, that's because there are real car colors for real cars that are similar, not quite the same, but similar, very similar to this ultra red hue. Now, what really comes to mind is some of the Mustangs. Like Mustang has a color that is, Ford has a color that is super close to actual like ultra red looking. And I think actually Chevy does too, and these are on like a Corvette. So you don't be fooled by that. Just because it is red doesn't mean, you know, that it is a chase. Now, however, they do make chases with black tires, and it's not going to be quite as obvious. Now, they should have some other traits to them, but another takeaway is, let's say this card had this car in it, and the card art was a gold colored car, and you found a red colored car in the packaging. There's a chance that might be a chase, because the car, you know, the color of the card does not match the color of the card art, right? So there's that as well. All right, now, This also has a chrome interior, so that's another kind of dead giveaway. You're never going to see a car from Auto World, a regular release, that's going to have a chrome interior. So just to recap on this one, we've got ultra red body, white base, white tires, chrome interior, and those are the traits for this one. And I believe also this particular one, I think, yeah, it goes off of the version A traits, so there's not really any differentiation between these two aside from the color and the interior color. However, both of those traits are changed in the chase anyway, so you won't be able to tell the difference, but this is the same van that you will find in either A or B card, if that makes sense. But the majority of the other ones if there is a difference, like a blatant difference in trim and stuff like that between the A and B series, or if they have different rims or whatever, for this series, I believe, okay, I'm not 100% sure because I don't have them all, but that it is version A traits, which we're going to see the opposite here coming up. So, all right, the minivan, I love it. This is fantastic. Love to get this chase. That is fantastic. We got the A, we got the B, we got the ultra red, and then same thing with this. So we got an ultra red, we got the A, and we got the B. So before we open up the A and the B, let's just talk about looking at this in the package. So you see that this is on a version A card. You see that the car is red. Let's ignore the fact that it's got gold rims and white tires, which should be just blatant, obvious. I'm a chase. We see that the car is green. Looks greenish. Sorry, it's not really green. It's espresso brown poly, which actually, it looks pretty darn green to me. But maybe that's just me going colorblind. I don't know. But yeah, the car's red. It's definitely not brown, so that's another like, oh yeah, I definitely have a chase there. So before we open this up, we'll just chat about that. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and open up these two cars. Now we've got, let's do version A to begin with. Now, mind you, this is on a version A card, so let's think about that as we open this up. So here is version A. And yeah, I guess it is brown. I don't know. God, it looks really green under some light. But it is, yeah, it's brown. It's a dark brown. Of course, the hood opens on this thing. This is a great casting from Auto World. It's actually been around for quite some time. It is casting number 14. Wow, these were actually produced in March. So that's pretty quick turnaround from production to actually showing up in selling. Are we back to normal with supply chain of Diecast? Looks like we're getting there. This one's got a cream top. It's got a cream colored interior. It's got a license plate that says 69 Bird. Very cool. And nice color. It's an odd color. And is that brown or green? It looks green to me for some reason. It's brown. I know it's brown. All right. And then we got this thing, version B. Now this one is in Matador red. Okay. Matador red. It's version B. Same car. There's some differences, some obvious differences, though, in trim, which is going to cue us into what's going on with the ultra red. So there's your version B. So what's different about the version B car? Well, aside from obvious, the color, right? The color of the car. Are the rims actually different, or are these ones just painted? I think these are just painted. I think they're the same rim, though. So these don't have the black centers, which not going to really make a difference on the chase because we got gold rims anyway. But you see it's red, and it's red all around. It does not have the different colored top, like a vinyl top thing going on. Still same plate and all of that. Nice looking Firebird. Quite nice looking. So very cool. So then when we go ahead and we look at this, we can see that it doesn't have the cream colored top. So that cues us in. So it's in a version A card, but these Ultra Reds have version B car traits. which is why there is no cream colored top. Okay. So let's go ahead, and that should follow throughout the entire set. So when you're looking for release 2, release 2, 2023, and these are the ultra red traits you're looking for. Again, it should be super obvious because we have gold rims and white tires. Kinda hard to miss. It appears we also get a white interior. Okay, that's not a cream colored interior like this one would be because it's, again, version B trait. So they are changing the color of the interior on the chases, and it is white. And then we get an ultra red base. So white tires, gold rims, ultra red base, ultra red body, white interior. And sometimes you got to peek under the hood too, because they'll hide a trait underneath there. Sometimes you see a white engine. That's been in, I think, at least 2 releases now. So there you go. There's a little ultra red education for you. Sorry for those of you that already know all this stuff and maybe didn't need me to reiterate it, but it's always fun to talk about it. But that should help you when you're looking, for ultra reds in the store. And then if you find them and you want to get rid of them, you just kind of like give me a holler. I wouldn't mind. All right. Next, we're going to look at car culture. No, Kaido House car culture. All right, so let's look through these Kaido House. We got 2 castings here to peek at, and then we're going to get into car culture, and then we're done. So this is the GTR R34. I believe this is the first release of this casting. Again, if I'm wrong, let me know. But let's pull this out here and let's see what we got. The packaging's kind of interesting. It's kind of got like that detailed like drawing thing, CAD thing of it, and designed in Los Angeles by Junimai Kaido House, and of course produced by one of my favorite brands, Mini GT. So I love Mini GT stuff, and this is just Kaido House style, but Mini GT. As far as scale goes on this GTR, just looking at the length of the car, it might actually be close to 1/64 scale this time. Now, I know they haven't stuck to that at all. He hasn't really cared about making him actual 1/64 scale, which I really don't understand why. Why wouldn't you just do it? But I guess it allows you a little bit more room for the tooling and stuff like that to add these body kits and all that jazz. So, I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about this casting. And I don't know if I will end up getting a bunch of these or if these 2 are just going to be it. So it does have an opening hood. That's something that's not very common. Like Mini GT doesn't have opening hoods. The Kaido House stuff, I think all has had an opening hood with pretty detailed under the engine, lots of under the hood detail. This is in a pearl white. It's also got like a roll cage in it. There's some details on the interior that you may not be able to see here, but a lot goes into this. And then they have the like alloy wheels, and we got this like cool heat distressed metal look on the base that we have for pretty much all Kaido House stuff. It's got its own style. I kind of like it. And then let's take a look at this one. This color maybe not as exciting as maybe this purple will be. Yeah, I can already tell I like this one more just by looking at the top of it with those stripes. Kind of like a pinstripe suit. I think this one doesn't. Yeah, that one doesn't have stripes. This one does. Yeah, this is a lot cooler. This looks way cooler in purple. But lots of details on these things, and they're kind of polarizing. You kind of either love them or you'd hate them. And that seems to be what I'm getting from other people. But I've kind of dug every one. Now, this might be the casting that I am digging maybe the least. I don't know if it's just because I'm so sick of like R34s and like modern GTRs and R34s and R35s. Like I just yeah. They're cool. We get it. But this is definitely a kind of a fresh take on it, I guess. It's different. Again, we get detail underneath there. It's cool. I don't know. I like it. I think these are cool. This is a cool collection. When you see the Kaido House stuff all together, they kind of have that same kind of identity. And, you know, and that's, as a designer, that's kind of what you're going for, right? You're going for a style, an identity in what you're doing. And that kind of is what sets you apart, I guess, or whatever. What gives you the attention that you should get for your art is basically kind of having its own style. Like you see Kaido House Mini GT, even if it didn't say Kaido all over it, you probably would think, hey, is that a Kaido House? You know, that's a Junimai piece. Like you can tell by the style, the styling cues. I mean, all the stuff. Like it's got that on the bottom, you know, all that stuff. So I can respect it. I think it's pretty awesome, actually. And these aren't like exorbitantly expensive or anything like that. So I think they're pretty cool. You guys feel free to disagree. All right, so the last thing we're going to open up is the Countach chase. So let's just go through this car culture. Spectacolare. I could have done a separate video on these, but whatever. We just got a long weekly video. So hopefully you guys have been along for the ride and you've been enjoying yourself. I haven't rambled on too long about auto world chases. Starting with the Julia. Kind of a classic look for this. Like snake thing on the front. And it looks pretty good. Of course, we got the dot matrix printing going on that we have on all modern premium Hot Wheels, which, yeah, I complain about it a lot. But as long as it's still there, I'll keep mentioning. It's a pretty good looking car, though. Not bad. These two, this Lancia is very cool. And the next Alpha we're going to look at. Actually, we should look at the Alpha first. Huh? So we just looked at a Alpha. So this is the Alfa Romeo 155 V6 Ti. And this is like a brand new casting, right? Copyright date 2021. Or was this released already? I can't remember. But here it is in this, and it looks really good, actually. This is really cool looking. From afar, it looks really good. When you start looking up close again, we got this fuzzy, noisy printing that I don't understand, really. I don't. You can't get a higher resolution graphic on these? Why? Is it because of the speed that they need to be produced at? Is that what it is? Like it just would take too long to print? They wouldn't be able to pump these out as fast as you need to. And of course, if they take longer to print, is it cost more? I'm not sure. It's not like you would use more ink or anything like that or whatever it is that they print this stuff on. What is the reason? Somebody find out. Why do they have to do it this way? It's a cost-cutting measure at some point, right? It's got to be something like that. It's clearly possible for them to do a higher resolution, right? But it would cost more. And why would it cost more? It would cost more because it would take more time. I'm wondering if that's what it is. All right, well, we could talk about that all day, but it does look good, though. This is a nice looking piece. I do like this set as a whole. I think it's pretty darn good, and it was pretty exciting when I saw that it was announced. And I was really excited about that new Countach, and now I just don't know. All right, so Lancia Stratus. This thing is very, very cool. Probably the coolest one in the set, really. I believe this is kind of like an almost accurate livery on this thing. The wheel choice, I think, was good on this to go with those. Overall, I'm digging it. I think it's pretty awesome. How many times can I say awesome? We got the dot matrix printing on this as well. Of course we do. We're not getting away from that, but I don't know. On some style of graphics, it doesn't look quite as bad, and this one is one of those. So, what do you guys think? I think this is the highlight of the set, to be honest. That's the coolest looking one. All right, Countach. I love a Countach. I don't like these wheels so much. So far, I think we've only seen this casting with these wheels on it. I mean, they're like a beadlock rim is what it looks like. And that's just not, you're not going to see that on a Countach. So what are you doing? Just because it's got the dots? Why? Make a new wheel, for crying out loud. How expensive is it to tool another wheel? Probably very expensive, but I mean, you get to use it across so many models and spread that cost out. Make a Lambo wheel. Make a 5-dot. Something like that. I don't know. Anyway, what do you guys think? It's a yellow Countach. I think it looks pretty good. It's not bad. It's just the wheels bother me just a little bit. Okay, I'm not going to let it bring down the whole casting, but wheels make quite the difference. And may I segue that into this thing. And you know what? Hang on. I had to go grab some additional cards because I don't want my claims to be unfounded. And we are going to discover something together here. So, this is going to be kind of exciting. Before we open the chase, we'll open the chase last. I don't like this. I'm just looking at it right now, and I don't like it. Why don't I like it? Am I wrong, or does that front wheel look extremely tiny and like out of proportion? Like it screws up the whole proportions. Like the way this car was done, I don't think it was done very good. So I apologize to whomever designed this. Well, I don't really apologize. I shouldn't say I apologize for it. It's my opinion, and if you don't agree with me, you don't agree with me. And please let me know, okay? I don't know, something just looks wrong about how this was made. It's the proportions of the back to the front wheel, and the more I look at it, I don't know, the worse it gets. Now, I'm hoping the 1/43rd scale car, when that comes out, I will be very pleased with that one, because I do plan on picking up that car. I like this car in general. I like the look of the new Countach. This may be the worst of the three that I have, though, and that's saying something, considering the first one that I got was this guy, okay? And this I did not expect much of. This is a Tomica Basic, okay? Basic Tomica. And it's not fantastically proportioned either. It's not exactly perfect, but the difference in size between rear to front wheel, you know, they're almost the same, actually. No, they're not. The back wheel is the same. The front wheel on this one is larger than the front wheel on this one. So actually, when we take a look at these, lining up the wheels, the Hot Wheels is actually shorter. This one is, it says it's literally 1/64 scale, and actually I do believe it. Probably at length the car, I bet you it is 1/64. This one is probably slightly shorter, and it does look like it's slightly shorter. And maybe doing it slightly shorter and trying to get this slope correct is really what kind of screwed this car up. It's not good. I'm just telling you, it isn't. It's like, why this wheel is so tiny. There is no way that the real car is running around with a micro wheel on the front. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So back wheel is probably close to the right size, but this front wheel is not. And I'm guessing it was a design constraint due to the slope of the front end, but it looks like they just got that all wrong. Ugh. You know what I'm saying? Do you feel what I'm saying? Like, it looks like a lot of the other things are close to the same size. This is definitely smaller, though. So we're going to say this is a smaller 1/64 scale, and maybe that's what screwed everything up here. Maybe it is in proportion. It's just tiny for the scale. This right now is the gold standard for what the car should look like. This is a poster cars, and I believe this is probably done very accurately. We have yet to see the Mini GT come out. That one, when that comes out, I'm sure will look really good as well. This one I took some really good pictures of, and I put this on my Instagram, so you should definitely check that out if you haven't. But this one is clearly a little bit shorter than this one, which makes me think that this one's probably right on in length. And it does look like it's right on in length. This one's a little bit wider than this car. This one This one is probably proportioned nearly exactly 1/64 scale. I don't know why they wouldn't. It's a 1/64 scale, kind of more premium diecast, even though this thing is only $10. So, or at least it was when it first came out. I don't know what they are going for now. You get brake details, all sorts of stuff. You get so much more with this car, and it's $10. And these cars are like catching up to that. This is what? How much is this thing? I mean, if you find it in stores, it's what, like $650 now? $10, $650. If you want a nice replica of the new Countach, I'm going to say go with this one. It just, all in all, looks a lot better, more properly proportioned. This thing looks honestly a little bit comical. I hate to rag on it. I get so disappointed though when there's a car I'm excited about and then the company screws it up somehow. And it's not the first time it's happened to me. It's happened to me a lot of times, you know. I was even disappointed. I mean, and I hate to rag on Tomica Limited Vintage, but when they did the original Countach, I was a bit disappointed because the doors, they kind of screwed up. So that's my gripe. Okay, I'm sorry if I'm over the line on that, but you guys let me know. That wheel just undoubtedly, you're blind if you don't think that that front wheel just looks like ridiculous. So, but all in all, I am happy to have gotten the Chase. Let's go ahead and open it up and check it out. There it is. You can't even argue, well, Hot Wheels rolls and blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? I'm not taking this back off the base, but that rolls too. It's not going to win any downhill races, but it rolls. I mean, these rubber tires ones aren't going to win any downhill races anyway. So, whatever. And, you know, my Chase has flaws. Of course it does. Something weird with the wheel in the back. And a little missing paint right there. So, and that's actually quite normal, I've discovered, for these black Chases. And I'm sorry that I'm ragging on Mattel real bad, but you got the dot matrix printing. We got the off, really out of scale. I don't know, whatever. It's out of scale. It doesn't look great in comparison to its peers yet. So that kind of sucks. And then we've got the Chases for car culture. If you ever have them loose, you'll know this, okay? If you really look at your cars up close, almost every single one of my Chases that are painted this gloss black that are a Chase from Hot Wheels has some sort of paint issue somewhere. And this is just a little chip here, but these things chip so easily. I don't know what exactly it is about the process of painting these things black or whatever, but they tend to chip really, really easy. And I think every single one of my car culture Chases has some issue with the paint somewhere. So I'm not telling you to not collect Hot Wheels anymore. I'm just saying, you know what? There's other brands out there that do really cool stuff too, so they might be worth giving a look, especially if there's a particular car that you're really into. And for me, this Countach, I was really into it. I was really into it when Lamborghini announced it. I really loved the design right away. I thought it looked really awesome, and I couldn't wait for diecast companies to come out with a car, and I gotta say that this is the most disappointing one. I get it, this Tomica doesn't look super accurate either, but it just has kind of a Tomica style to it that, in a way, is sort of charming, and it does look pretty decent, and it's at least closer to scale, even though Tomica never really cares about scale when it comes to their basic models. I mean, I just think this was even done better, which is surprising. Usually these just have the Tomica look, and they're nowhere near accurate. Sometimes Hot Wheels will have a Hot Wheels look and be nowhere near accurate, but do you really need to stylize a Lamborghini? No, right? There's nothing you can do to make it look more Hot Wheels, right? So I don't know. Both of these are kind of, I love the shape of this. They got this all down real good. Problem is, like, these wheels just don't, I don't know, they don't do it for me. All right. I'm sorry. That's going to be it for this episode. Thank you guys for watching another super long one. I know this was a long one, but hopefully you did enjoy it. And, you know, always your comments are read. I read every single one of them. So if you have any opinions about what I've said, I don't care. You can be as harsh as you want. I love hearing them. I love hearing your opinion. And if you got something nice to say, yeah, that's cool too. Whatever. So thanks again and have a great day.